There are many stupid ideas on the extreme left. Abolishing the police, abolishing money, abolishing the state. Perhaps the dumbest of them all is the claim that we should abolish prisons. This is obviously a ridiculous idea. Some dangerous individuals need to be distanced from the public. Prisons are the institutions that facilitate that. There is no argument against this. Some people forget that lawlessness is tyranny. It is the freedom to be brutalized and butchered. It is not freedom in any serious sense of the word. Without security, there can be no freedom. Because freedom requires rights, and without security, you have no rights. Some so-called prison abolitionists don't actually want prison abolition. They just want more focus on rehabilitation and less retribution. And that is a reasonable goal that I fully support, but don't call it prison abolition. Don't strawman yourself. Don't do the job of right-wing pundits for them. This is incredibly bad rhetoric that makes a reasonable cause sound stupid. It alienates ordinary people and makes your objectives harder to achieve. If you don't want to abolish prisons, don't call yourself a prison abolitionist. Prison abolitionism is radicalism for the sake of radicalism. It is the furthest possible thing from pragmatic politics. And the left desperately needs to embrace pragmatic politics. But some fools don't want to push actual change. For them, politics is just an identity thing. They just want to be a radical activist. And these people are a liability for the left. There are some such people in Parliament, primarily in the Green Party, and of course the Maori Party. These parties have plenty of mindlessly radical activists in their ranks, and these people give the right endless fodder with which they can attack the left. David Seymour must love them, they are his biggest asset. Prisons are not going anywhere. Dangerous people need to be distanced from the public. Prisons facilitate that. Should the Christchurch mosque shooter walk free? What about sex offenders? What about serial killers? We obviously need to have prisons. Some people need to be kept far away from the public. Some people are very, very dangerous. Prison abolitionists should go for a tour around the most high-security prisons in the country. There are plenty of people in those institutions who should absolutely be there. And of course there are some people who shouldn't be. But that is no excuse for throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Sometimes dangerous people need to be distanced from the public. In my view, prisons don't have to be about retribution. I am opposed to retribution. The desire for vengeance is a bloodthirsty emotional desire. The state has no business enforcing bloodthirsty desires. The state should restrain the bloodthirsty side of man, not amplify it. Prisons are primarily about keeping dangerous people away from the public. They have a secondary purpose as a deterrent, but many are skeptical about this. They argue that crime isn't rational, so deterrence simply does not work. Even if they are not a deterrent, they are justified simply for the sake of keeping dangerous individuals isolated from those who they could hurt. There is an idiotic prison abolitionist organisation called People Against Prisons. The Green Party sympathises with this organisation. They have attended protests and donned prison abolitionist t-shirts. So this is not totally fringe, although it should be. The Green Party likes flirting with this kind of radicalism for the sake of radicalism. And in doing so, they damage the credibility of the left. And for what? To get the approval of a radical minority? It is no different to New Zealand First appealing to a radical minority of anti-vaxxers. It is simply bad politics. Radicalism for the sake of radicalism has to come to an end. It is a huge liability for the political left. The left has been subject to defeat after defeat in the last few years. We need to sort ourselves out. Only then can we defeat the right and deliver the good governance that this country deserves.